Hi, this is Kimberly Reuter, business advisor and supply chain expert, and welcome back to my podcast, The Morning Mood. We are back for another episode of Freedom Friday with Tiana. And today we are talking about rewriting your story. So, Tiana, tell us about this.
Yeah. So, rewriting your story, this has come up for me so much in the last several months. As I've been working with clients to review their career, rebrand whom and how they show up,
Hmm.
I am seeing over and over again this commonality of people who've had what I've now termed what looks messy, according to the world of
All
how
right.
their resume shows up and what different things they've done. I've been able to help them find this thread that goes throughout to really now hone in and tell their story. Right. So I've been built like working with them to their freedom to rewrite it in such
Yeah.
a way that's not just about the checklist of the things they've done, but
Hmm.
more or less like tell the story of the future and the legacy that you want to leave. Right.
I love
So
this.
using my career as an example, right? I
Yeah.
spent the first half of my career mastering how to build systems that
Yep.
were resilient,
Yep.
right? And then I spent the second half of my career using that same knowledge now to serve resilient people. So
Interesting.
I was able to thread how I've been able to now architect order from chaos
Yep.
in both those different types of environments.
Yes.
So that is my unique thread that I call myself the second stage responder, whether it's a problem that I'm solving for
Yes.
an organization or I'm
Yep.
supporting someone in the next stage of their career or their new business.
Yes.
That same type of work is what when I talk about rewrite your story,
Yep.
is how I've been supporting people rewriting theirs.
It's super interesting because when basically what you're talking about is
Mhm.
boiling it down to what are the key skills and experiences that you had that and then knitting them together into a story. And so your example is great. My example is very similar, right?
Mhm.
I didn't come in big tech. I didn't start in big tech, right?
Right.
I have a bachelor's of arts degree from Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. I did not go to an Ivy League school.
Mhm.
But I was in the brokerage business, freight
Yeah.
forwarding business. I had an opportunity to do some work with Ford. I got exposure to some people who ended up working at Amazon. And because of all of that really deep import, export, compliance, logistics experience I was building for like 15 years of my career, it
Yeah.
all translated into what we were building at Amazon,
Which is huge.
which was huge. And I
And
done a little stint at a little tech startup at DC right in between there. And all of that, like if you looked at that resume and you were like, and you had not put the Amazon on the end,
right, right,
you'd have been like, "What? So you were a broker and a freight forwarder, and then you wanted to work for this tech company, and now" like, my next step would have been either to try to climb the tech ladder, right,
right.
or go back
Mhm.
into the brokerage business, and they, both would have been like,
Mm, how does that
"Mm,
work out?
you
Yep.
left, you came back, well, you haven't been in the tech industry that long, like, da, 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 da." It would have been a slow path for me, but
Yeah.
knitting the 2 together whole different story.
That piece. But then
Yes.
it's now that continued journey
Oh, yeah.
because
Absolutely.
here, right, there's that piece. Even I look at, okay, I did all these things in these places, but is this the stuff I still want to do?
Yes.
Right? So as you're going forward in that next step, I'm I've had to go deeper into the stuff that doesn't even show up on the resume
Mhm.
and continue to thread that needle to get to a place of, oh, this is how I can use what I call the unresume skills. This is what I can use to actually build what's really important to me, which I had the entire time, but was never actually valued.
So you and I talked a little bit right before we started about, and I use this all the time, the builder versus the maintainer.
Come on.
And I think this is very similar to how you and I sort of started rewriting our own careers, our
Mhm.
own stories to figure out, oh, that path that we thought we wanted to go down maybe isn't where we want to go. And somewhere along the way, and I think for me, definitely it happened at Amazon. I'm not sure where it happened for you. I figured out the difference between a maintainer and a builder. When did you figure it out?
I figured it out. I want to say it was after Amazon.
Okay.
Um, More because I managed some, but then I was still an individual contributor
Yeah, 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 yeah.
creating new things by the
Yeah,
time I left, right?
yeah.
You know what? It was with Amazon, but when I went to fabric.com,
Oh, yeah, that definitely would have done it.
that next stage,
Oh, but this is a perfect example. Okay, we're gonna come back to that story. So first, I wanna talk about what's the difference between a builder and a maintainer because not everybody knows. So,
come on.
all right. So a builder, and I'm a builder, Tiana's a builder, by the way,
Mhm.
are people who come in and they either create or transform. So you either have a blank slate and you're like, make this shit happen
Yep,
and we do it. We
yep.
are excellent at it. We build it, we refine it, we implement it, we get that little puppy humming. And after that,
Somebody has to maintain it.
we are about ready to like blow shit up because we have to create or solve another problem.
Correct. Correct.
So, and I will tell people that I know I've worked with people that after I built it and then they're like, stop picking stuff apart. I'm like,
I gotta
I can't
continue.
look at this Excel spreadsheet all day. Like I just, dude.
Mhm.
So when
Mhm.
I figured that out about myself, I discovered that probably going further up the leadership chain was not going to benefit me
Mhm.
because the higher you go, the less you do, right? You create less, you're doing more leadership,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
maintaining things. And I'm glad I figured that out because I don't think I'd have been very happy. So, how do you feel about this whole builder thing? Because you're a builder.
Oh, I'm a builder. I People hear me say it all the time. Like, I don't like to do things twice.
Nope.
Let me get it done and move on. Like,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Um, the maintaining piece, yeah.
No.
So for me, what I learned from a leadership perspective is that I have to have a little bit of both when it comes
Yeah.
to the work that I'm doing on my with my team,
Yeah.
right? So when I transitioned to fabric.com,
Mhm.
which is no longer around,
No.
but here we go.
Yeah,
When
but
I
here's the
transitioned,
story. Yep.
yes, but when I transitioned there, I think the biggest win for me was that we were moving to a new facility.
Mhm.
So when I got there, from the old to the new, which allowed for innovation to come in and for
Yeah.
me to bring in different type of work, even though it was the same. We're cutting fabric. We're cutting
Yeah.
fabric.
Yep.
Cutting fabric
Yep.
is no, right. We're customer service. We're taking calls. We
Yep.
are teaching folks on the phone. Great. But they never had a quality program.
Yeah.
So I brought in a quality person. Oh my goodness. We didn't have proper inventory control. Okay, so I got to create inventory control system. We didn't, right? Like all the safety wasn't up to par. All right,
Yeah.
we had to build out a safety. So now, even though it was a maintenance type role,
Yeah.
I got to build with
Build stuff.
innovation,
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
And then when it stopped building and I had all these things in place, it was like, ooh, okay, now I got to work on the people.
Yeah.
Okay, like it was just, but it was not for me,
Yes. Because that once you got all that done, you were done. It was like, now what?
that part. So even transitioning into like the education space,
Yeah.
what kept they must have figured out what G figured out about me. Like, you got to keep giving her something different because in 9 years in education,
Yeah.
I had 11 different titles.
Perfect. Yeah.
Like, it required those shifts to do new things or to
Yeah.
continue to innovate in the space I was in. So yeah, that's what it is for me. I got to
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah. So let's talk about maintainers because maintainers are also great. Like there is one is not better than the other. Like that's the other thing when I say this, people are like, oh, well, like, no, you have to have both. And great maintainers are, man, they're the ones you have to have that. They're the ones that make it scale. They're the ones that keep it up and running, blah, blah, blah. You have to have them. But the reason why you have to have the distinction is this, is that you cannot put a maintainer in a builder job
No.
and you
No.
cannot put a builder in a maintainer job. They will both fail.
And not only do you need to know the difference, but they need to know
Need
the
to know
difference
the difference.
because there's many times there are folks who are trying to do the other jobs because
Yes.
they think that's what's best for them.
Yeah.
And it's you've got as a leader, you have to be able to have those tough conversations
Yeah.
and show them. Like, don't
Yeah.
be afraid to show them. Like, let's
Yeah.
try this for a second
Yeah.
and tell me how you really feel about it. Cause you'll
Yeah.
see the difference in their joy and
Yes.
their execution.
Yeah. And it's back to helping them rewrite their story because how they got here, how they got I will put it for me because this is what always happened to me. How I got in this fucked up maintainer position was because I thought that I had to move to the next level.
Mm,
Right? I had to climb that corporate ladder. So I had to make it up to SVP or whatever it was. And then,
mhm.
and then, and then, and then. But the truth of the matter is that the more leadership positions I had, the more I hated it. Because what I really loved was the building and creating.
Yes.
And anyone who would give me like a clean slate, a little bit of money, and a couple engineers, I was like, let me solve the world's problems.
Please. Please. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll sit in code with you. Come on, let's go.
And happy as a clam, like I don't need the title, but it took me a long time to understand that all these conversations about how authenticity and start to
Yeah.
rewrite my own
Yep.
story on
Yep.
how I define success.
You know what? Let me tell you, it actually was at Amazon for me.
Where was it?
With Outbound, it was before I went to returns.
Ah,
Outbound, it was one Christmas season where we finally got snow and ice in Seattle.
oh yeah.
And everything, I remember, FedEx had the truck at the end of a hill with whoever can get down. There were customers on skis trying to get to the truck to get their packages. You had UPS.
Girl, all right,
They
just for a minute,
people
we have to provide our East Coast perspective on this shit because I remember that storm because we did not have electricity for 3 days on Bainbridge Island. And let me tell you something, I'm a hardy soul. I don't care about that. I can live without I'm all right with that. But coming straight off the East fucking coast, when it snowed, threatened to snow, thinking about snow, whatever, this was in the early 2000s. Snow, salt, and any other chemical they could get was on the road.
already done. The
Already
plows were already at the interstate,
done.
ready to go. As
Slap
soon
up asphalt as we go. Here we go. Nothing
Yes,
shut down. Everybody went to work. It was no big deal. And you better move your car out of the way because plow's coming. He's going to plow you in. Like that's how
and
it happened on the East Coast. Tiana and I pop up. I think this might have been our first or second winter. And
it. Well, I don't. Well, don't worry about that. But let's go.
it was
Tell the
early
story.
and snow comes down in Seattle. The whole place shuts down.
Shuts down.
Shuts down.
Mm.
Shuts down. They don't own a plow. I think the whole city of Seattle had 2 plows, I think we figured out. 2. 2. Stone cold fact, y'all. They had 2 snow plows. The city shut down. I lived on Bainbridge Island. We didn't see a plow for 3 days. And
Let me.
when one finally came, this is the part that got me. They sprinkled some sand.
Yes, because there was no salt available in
Wasn't
the
allowed because of the
area.
ordinance, because of the Puget Sound. We didn't want to change the salinity in the Puget Sound. So after 3 days of being snowed in, you finally see the plow. You're so excited. You run out to your driver because you're like, oh, salvation is coming. And he's not really moving a lot of snow.
Nope,
And off the back
nope,
of this thing is just a little bit of grit that's gonna
yep.
like thaw, freeze, and disappear by morning.
Yeah, pretty much
Mhm.
because they have no idea the impact of sand. Clueless.
Oh, and then
Clueless.
after that, that's right. Then all the drains backed up.
Yep. So
Yeah,
here's the fun part. Here's the fun part. I'm on a call. It is the
I
it's I
forgot.
did it is the day before Christmas, right? Because now you got people calling our VPs mad
Oh,
that they
yeah.
didn't get their Christmas
It did
packages.
happen right around Christmas, yep.
The day before.
Yeah, I do remember this
I
stuff.
was
Yeah, I
on a
remember it
call.
coming.
Clearly, they didn't get their packages, and it was I only saw FedEx here, or I only saw UPS. Tiana, I want you to write up why our carriers could not get through the city to deliver packages on time for Christmas. My answer was no.
I love you for that.
And here's why. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And can you get anywhere? I can't get anywhere. Mhm. Like the city, like I can't get anywhere.
Do you need me to break it down for you? Like, what exactly do you think is going on?
Would you like me to take pictures from the corner of my door to show you that it's impossible to get around the city?
I don't
Number
need to write
one.
it up.
Number two, what are we going to do about it? Number three, I just got a message that my groceries will not be delivered. Is anybody calling Amazon Fresh to make sure that I have groceries to feed my family tomorrow? Therefore, no paper. In that moment, my boss was on the two. This is the senior VP I'm on the line with our VP and then my boss at the time.
Yep.
And the one who told us to be New York, Brooklyn, and Philly, he was like, "You right, Tiana, but we should look at man, no." And then my boss is like, "I'll write it," and I'm like, "No, you won't.
No, you're not gonna
You,
write it.
you
I know who
hold
that was. You soft belly coward. No, we're not writing it. Stand on some principle.
And so I left. I was like, done. And then when I came back from Christmas break, I went straight into his office and said, "You can keep your job. I no longer want to be promoted to your position." He's like,
Exactly.
"This is what we've been working on."
No,
Absolutely. But if it's expected in your role to follow through with that nonsense,
no. Mm-mm.
no. So voice showed up then.
Yeah.
I sure enough rewrote
The story.
my story then.
Yeah.
But that was it. I'm like, oh, this ain't for me.
Mm-mm.
Because I don't do what doesn't make sense.
No, I'm not doing this. And if you're and I love G. I do. We had some rough moments.
Yeah.
But he did like to threaten you. And
Oh, oh yeah.
he was a paper tiger though. Once I figured that out, I was like, okay.
He was I love me, my G.
I
Oh,
do. I love G. I do. I'm not just trying to disparage him, but that was one of his favorite tactics.
oh yeah, yeah, not with
Yeah.
me.
I'm like, oh, do me a
Not
favor
with
and fire me, please, because then unemployment's gonna be sweet. And he's like, no, I'm not going to release you from the misery. It was almost like serial killer esque, right? He's like, no, I'm going to make you suffer, so I'm not going to fire you. I know how miserable you are, and I'm going to keep you, and then I'm going to give you a raise, give you more stock. Now you
But
can't
no,
leave.
that for me is just one of my and I realized I just went high, like I'm hot now. uh, But for me, that's just one of those stories of just understanding one, your worth, understanding two, like what you have always dreamed of.
Mm-hmm.
Like that for me was the chief seat. Like what I've always does not equal what maybe I saw on TV or what I understood.
Yeah.
And once I started to greatly understand, here's actually where this is my goal. This is where I'm golden.
Yeah.
Let me do
Let me
the
do my
thing
thing.
in
Yeah.
this space and knock it out. I don't need the title. That's
Yeah.
when I realized where the title wasn't necessary.
Yeah. I got
In
there
that
too
moment.
with that
Yeah.
piece. So To the audience, to my Moodies, here's the message. You can rewrite your story
Yes.
at any moment. What you have to do is figure out what's important to you, start stringing together all those great experiences and skills that you've had, right? That look disjointed, right?
Yeah.
Like the woman who was the top Tupperware salesperson in her region feels like she has no value. Girl, you got value. You got sales skills. Being able to take that, string it together, and then rewrite your story every time you learn something new.
It's huge.
It's
It's
huge because
yeah,
what we think we want when we start in our careers may not be what we end up with.
that
And I've
part.
seen some unhappy people in the C-suite. Yeah,
That part.
shocking.
But I can I just share one more thing for the people who are
Yes.
looking for jobs right now?
Yes,
Um,
please.
so that's another piece. I had a client who was getting interviews. He was getting them. He was getting to the final stage, but never made it past the last interview. And it wasn't because he didn't have the skills. It was he was going after jobs based off a title that he was constantly given by the employers he worked for. But when we really sat down and looked at it, the true transformation and the work that he actually provided for folks had nothing to do with that title. It
Wow.
was, it was adjacent. So to be able to really tell his story, it wasn't that he wasn't incapable, but if he's going against somebody who is actually doing the work, he
Yep.
will never get the job.
Yeah.
So now to be able to step back and hone in on, oh my gosh, this is who I am,
Yeah.
and now have a new rele- revelation, man,
Yes.
that shifted the story that he was able to tell.
Yeah.
And now he has a job,
Excellent. Yeah.
right? So, like, that's the, I just want to share that with you
Yep.
is there's a, for those out there looking for work, just take that step back. It just, you may just need to revisit what story you're telling
Telling. Yeah.
so that you can close the gap on you getting that great opportunity for
Yeah.
yourself.
That's a great tip. Thanks, Tiana. All right. As always, that's us for our Freedom Friday. We will be back. I don't know what we're talking about next one, but we'll come up with it and we'll tell you when you're here.
That's it.
We'll see you soon. Thank
Bye.
you.